Yeah, we always have an odd one in the crowd.
So it's kind of odd.
Decidedly odd.
Doesn't that strike you as a little bit odd?
No, that doesn't strike me as a little bit odd.
It's the Bob and Sheri Oddcast, with stuff we wouldn't, couldn't, or shouldn't do on the regular show. Now, here's the Oddcast.
We're having ladies' night, Heather. Let me catch y'all up on the latest with my daughter Olivia's housing drama. So,
I love some gossip.
It's so y'all, it's so bad. It's so bad. So she and her roommate and the emotional support rabbit, Pillsbury, were supposed to be able to move in. So they had a 12-day housing shortage. They booked into the Motel 6, which canceled their reservation, which just said, you have a reservation, we're not going to honor it. Sorry, not sorry. So they were going to be living in their cars, but another friend found out about it and said, hey, I'm out of town till September. Why don't you guys stay at my place? You can take care of my cat, and then they don't have to pay a pet sitter. So that worked out okay. But then it turns out that the apartment they were going to move into had some sort of crazy maintenance issue. And now, instead of being able to move in August 10th, it looks like they're not getting in until August 25th, which is like
Stressful.
a couple of weeks after classes start. So stressful. Olivia's melting down. It's crazy. And I was talking to her this afternoon. Yes, Kay, Motel 6 canceled. Can I tell you, when Motel 6 breaks up with your ass, you are just, there's nothing left to hope for, okay? I hadn't thought about this in a million years, but I'm talking to Olivia today and she's like, I'm so stressed out and it's just, And I was like, honey, did I ever tell you my college housing story? And she was like, no, true story. Okay. So I have me and two roommates. I'm living in a roach infested studio apartment in West Philly on Baltimore Avenue. I couldn't bring food into this apartment because if I walked in with like a bag of takeout, I am not in any way making this up. Roaches would swarm from a Stephen King thing. It was awful. Okay. And I don't like bugs, snakes, whatever, but bugs, no. So luckily I worked, I was in school full time and I was a waitress too. And so I was able to eat like one meal every day at work at the restaurant. And then the rest of the time I just ate at school. This place was a hellhole. It was garbage. The door didn't lock very well. You could like force the lock just by pushing it. One night I was sound asleep and two men came into my apartment thinking they were at their buddy's place. I mean, they didn't hurt me or anything, but you know, it's unsettling. So I have two friends. We agree that we're going to get a bigger place and we're all going to room together. So we find a place, and this is in Philly, so it's expensive, but we find a place we can afford. It's not great. It's above a restaurant. It's kind of noisy, but you know, it had 3 bedrooms and we could swing it. We signed the lease. We put down the first and last month, the works. The day comes to move. None of us have a car. We're literally carrying boxes on the subway to get to this apartment on move-in day. We get there. We have the key because we stopped at the rental company. It was a guy who owns a bunch of places in Philly. We stopped at the office and got the key from his secretary. We walk in, turn the key to the lock, and I can't even describe to you what it was like to see what we saw. Every room of this apartment had small women, Asian women. I don't know what country. They did not speak any English, and I do not speak any other language, right? Sleeping on the floor. Like they were in their pajamas, wrapped in blankets, sleeping on the floor. We scared the crap out of them. You're in our apartment. They couldn't communicate with us. We couldn't communicate. We go back out to the street. We call the property office and we demand to speak with the landlord. And of course he's not there, and no cell phones because this happened in the age of the actual dinosaurs. No cell phones. So we're at a payphone on a street in Philly surrounded by our boxes of crap. And we finally get this guy on the phone and he's like, oh yeah, it's a long story. But you know, the place is not available. What? Now, unlike my daughter, I don't have a mom that's going to run to my rescue. I got nothing. I got no money. I got no car. I've got no place to live. I've got no one to call. I'm ready to like dissolve on the street. And there must be something. We go get a phone book, an actual phone book, a paper phone book. For children who are listening tonight, we rode a Stegosaurus to a phone booth where there was a phone book. And we're flipping around. We find this number for City Hall in Philly for like an ombudsman's office. We call. Long story short, I don't know where. I dug deep. I dug really deep, and I found my inner Karen. And I was like, I got this. And I'm on the phone with the ombudsman who tells me this is illegal. They have to honor your contract, blah, blah, blah. I call this landlord back and inform him that we're going to sue him into next week. Now, I am so poor that I can't afford textbooks, and I have to show up and do a waitress shift that night or I'm going to lose my job. But I'm talking to him like I'm freaking, I don't know, Paris Hilton, and I got like all these resources or whatever. Here's how the story ended. He was forced by the city of Philadelphia to rent us a different apartment that was so swaggy and swanky that we couldn't have afforded it in a million years on a dare. And we got a 1-year lease on this really great apartment. And it ended happily ever after. Here's what I wonder now, because I was such a baby then. What did I walk in on? Was it human trafficking? What in the world did I walk in on in that apartment with all those women sleeping on the floor under a blanket?
Didn't even register that, but
well, back then.
Wow.
Back then, kids, this was, of course, before the cars were invented and we were still churning our own butter. Back then, human trafficking was a thing, but it wasn't a thing that was in the mainstream. Like nobody talked about it. And I am convinced now as a grown-up that whatever we walked in on that day was deeply illegal. And that's why the landlord caved and gave us another apartment. Not because that he required him to. Because I will remind you that in Philadelphia, laws are a suggestion that you can take or not take based on your mood. So at the time, I was like, wow, these tenant laws in Philadelphia are badass. But now I'm thinking we had him dead to rights on whatever it was he was doing. But who knows, right? Who knows? So I said to Olivia, the moral of the story is I'm not trying to tell you, oh, you think it's bad, look what happened to me. I'm trying to tell you that you're not overreacting and that I completely validate your stress and your experience. And these things do happen. And we just have to hope that there's goodness in the world and karma and that it'll all end up right. So that's what's happening in this house today as we have a complete stressed out homeless child situation. So cheers to that, everybody. Let me take a hit. So it's very difficult because 2 jobs, she's got 2 part-time jobs and she's in school, and Olivia is a Taurus, since we're talking about astrology. And your Taurus enjoys comfort and predictability and routines.
Stable home life. Yeah.
They don't like the adventure of having nowhere to live with a roommate and a support rabbit. There's just a lot going on there. Like Olivia cooks her own, likes to cook for herself, and everything is like, structured, and not having a home is making that really difficult. So that's what's going on here. I hope everyone else is having a much better day. Ooh, Denise Fallon said escort service. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it was definitely, how you walk into a situation. It could be as simple as you walk into a friend's house and you instantly know something's wrong, even though like she and her boyfriend or husband are acting like everything's okay. You can feel it. You know how you walk into a situation sometimes and you can feel the wrongness of it, even if you can't name the wrongness of it?
This reminds me of a college story, and I feel bad because I saw my grandmother in the chat, so oops. Early freshman year, we were at this big college party. It was me and a group of friends, and I had been upstairs. They were playing music. We were just having a good time doing what you do in college. And I come down the stairs and got that feeling. And I immediately just decided, I'm still on campus. I can walk back to my dorm room. I'm going to do that. And I walked out the door of that party straight past the cops and left that day. Luckily, I did not get in trouble.
You guys, you have to trust that feeling. Years ago on the show, we had Gavin DeBecker on. He's a security expert. He testified in the OJ trial, I think. But he's an expert in he does security for a lot of like celebrities and really wealthy people, and he's an expert in stalking. And he wrote an amazing book called The Gift of Fear, which I think everyone should read. I think every woman should read it. And in this book, he talks about how, our instincts are so finely tuned that we're picking up on cues in the environment that we're not really conscious that we're picking up on. And when you feel that wrongness, you got to go. You got to trust it. Don't worry about seeming rude. Don't worry about seeming crazy. Trust me, having people think you're crazy, it's not hurting me or Heather. We're just doing fine. But don't worry about what people think of you, because when you trust that inner voice, you're keeping yourself safe, right? So, and people are saying like, I can't believe you didn't call the cops. I can't believe you didn't do this or that or the other. So at that time in my life, my father was a drug kingpin meth cook. And calling the police was not something that we did in my family, right? I was terrified. I was terrified of doing anything that would bring my father's wrath down on me. I certainly wasn't going to get the law involved. And when I called City Hall and they raised a ruckus and got a hold of the landlord, it just seemed like the system worked. It's only now, and I was very emotionally immature. I was like 20 years old going on 13. Like I grew up in the woods with no mass media and only books and dolls for company, for God's sakes. I had no street smarts or worldliness at all. I had 5 boxes of my belongings and no place to sleep, and human trafficking wasn't a thing you talked about or thought about. And I don't know. I knew I was seeing something that was wrong and bad. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, and with no point of reference for what it was, how, especially being young, you really just don't know what you're looking at sometimes.
I really didn't. And my idea of, like, I knew a lot about the fast-paced and exciting world of illegal pharmaceuticals because that was happening all around me in my house. But I didn't know about other kinds of crime. I didn't know about, like, trafficking rings or I knew about pimps from like movies and stuff.
Right.
You just don't always know. And so you have to forgive yourself for not being like Starsky and freaking Hutch or whatever. Like for the younger people, that's a TV show that was on before we had cars and we were churning our own butter. Like give yourself some grace. And somebody said, I don't know how it went by really fast, but somebody said, I don't know how we survived the 80s and the 90s. And God, is that not the truth?
Think of also this boom that true crime we're a lot more educated about what is probably leading to a crime than we used to be. I mean, You probably, especially where you were living, didn't have much access to things like Dateline at the time to even know.
No, and you're you're a teenager.
Yeah.
And even when I got back east and lived with my grandmother and was thrown into like a big city, and I mean, I was so scared of my fellow classmates because they knew things. They were worldly in ways that I wasn't. And, like they smoked and hooked up with boys. And I was like, at that age, I swear to you, in like 8th grade, this was me. French kissing seems disgusting, so I'm only going to do it if I'm truly in love. Like, you guys cannot even imagine what a weirdo I was as a kid. I was so weird. I was so deeply, profoundly freaking weird.
To be fair, as a 30-year-old adult, most days I'm like, French kissing is disgusting. I could love that person, but I've seen what you've been eating all day.
I can remember it's 8th grade, and I went to a little Catholic school called the Annunciation of the Virgin Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mary. And every year they would have a fundraising carnival in the parking lot of the school. And you can imagine the kind of carnival I'm talking about. the rides are bolted together, hopefully. And there's like funnel cakes and, you can win a goldfish, that sort of thing. And there was a boy, he was probably 19 or so, working one of the rides. And I just looked at him and thought, that's the kind of man that I'm going to French kiss and marry. So let me just pause here because I want to put a frame on it so that we can all look at my piss poor taste in men. Folks, that was a carny.
What is it about those kinds of boys that's so attractive? I had the biggest crush. I remember going to Myrtle Beach when I was like 17 or 18 and had the biggest crush on one of the guys that was working the Ferris wheel at the car.
Yeah, that's why we love each other. That's why we love each other. It's like, I've got dibs on that carny, Heather. So I was not at 20 years old. I was real book smart and real clueless about everything else there could possibly be.
Allison Bell said not much of a tooth complication, probably.
Oh no. Hey girl, hey Allison, I should have French kissed that carny. There would have been a lot more to work with. Okay. Sometimes I want to go back in time and I want to get my younger self and I want to put my hands on her face and I want to say to her, stop being so stupid. It's a good thing time travel isn't real.
I was thinking a lot about that because I turned 30 this month. And I was thinking a lot about what I would say. And I'm like, stop being attracted to the weird
to carnies. Yeah, to carnies. Are you going to pop in and say hello?
Ooh.
Come say hi.
Kevin.
I can't stay because Rambo's on and I've never seen it.
You've never seen Rambo? Oh my God. I can't believe you've never seen Rambo. Why did you never go see Rambo when it was in the movie theaters?
I don't know. Maybe because everybody else was.
He's very contrary that way. He's a reverse snob. We'll say, okay, you have to wait for 1 minute. Does anybody have a question for Kevin before he goes and watches freaking Rambo? You have to wait because it takes a minute for the chat. Look at everybody saying hello to you. You should be so happy. Look, say hi, Kevin. Say hi, Angela. Hi, Angela, and Jennifer, and Bonnie. And you're crashing ladies' night, but they're going to allow it.
Ladies' night. Oh,
yeah. Here's what we were talking about right before you got down here. What we would if we could go back in time. What is the one thing we would tell our younger selves to keep us from being so stupid and making mistakes? What would it be for you?
To tell myself?
Your younger self. Yeah, you're going back in time. You're going to tell your younger self.
I have no regrets. I have zero regrets. I wouldn't be exactly where I am right now if I had any regrets. I wouldn't change anything.
See, I'm married to a Zen master. A potted meat, processed food eating Zen master. And before you dispute that, I'm going to tell them what you did yesterday. Kevin loves Popeyes. Is it Cajun rice? Dirty Cajun rice?
Yes, which they took off the menu for a while, like dumbasses.
Popeyes chicken. So he goes to Popeyes. He's out doing work or whatever yesterday, and he goes to Popeyes chicken to get a chicken sandwich for lunch. And he sees that they've brought back Cajun dirty rice, which he loves. So he's all happy. So he orders some. And then he comes home and he's telling me, guess what's back at Popeyes? Cajun rice. I'm not feeling so good, though. I ate a picnic serving. Picnic implies like a crowd, does it not? Right? That's not an individual serving. He had a pail of Cajun rice and wasn't feeling well. But you can't blame the Cajun rice for that.
No, I'm ready to go back though.
All right, let me see what's in the stream. Oh, what's your favorite movie? Olivia wants to know, or Melissa wants to know, what's your favorite movie?
I don't have a favorite, but I could reel off like a top 5, which would be Pulp Fiction and Papillon and
Cool Hand Luke.
Cool Hand Luke and Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, and that other one where the original one where the guy chases the bear, not the Leonardo DiCaprio remake. Don't you like that one too?
He's a Man in the Wilderness with Richard Harris.
Kevin hates Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh no, he was good in that Hollywood movie, but he's good as a great, in a Great Gatsby, because that's kind of the kind of person he is.
He was really good in Django Unchained. You have to give him that. He was really good in Django Unchained. Yeah, you have to give him that. Butch Cassidy. What about Butch Cassidy?
It's okay.
Kristen wants to know that.
It's all right.
Lauren says that you look darn good for eating a bucket of rice. When Kevin decides, when Kevin decides, he'll be like, I think I'm going to cut back on potato chips for a week and lose these 5 extra pounds. And he does it just like that. It's so unfair.
Okay.
So unfair. Are you going to watch
I'm
Rambo?
going back to
Okay,
work.
say bye to everybody.
That reminded me of just random food cravings. Sherry, do you have anything like if you get your hands on it, you will eat an entire bucket of it?
There's so many things. Oh my God, there are so many things. When I think about the foods that I can't resist, they're all carbs. I'm gonna be honest, they're just all carbs. Is that a
I will-
woman thing? Do we
I will
crave
eat
them?
a gallon-sized serving of Alfredo pasta if you put it in front of me, and I cannot stop myself. Or eggplant parmigiana. That's
Oh, I love that too.
Oh my goodness.
See, I don't like white cream sauces, so I can resist the Alfredo. But anything else, like we can't have potato chips in the house because anything salty and crunchy and carby, I cannot get enough of unless it's a can of cake frosting, and then I'm totally willing to go the other way. There's a can of Dolly Parton buttercream frosting in our refrigerator. Did you know that Dolly has her own like flavor of frosting? It's Betty Crocker or Duncan Hines or something, but it's Dolly Parton's buttercream.
Buying it. Adding it to the shopping list.
Yeah, Karen Mia baked a cake for her friend's birthday, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. So let's go. Oh, spaghetti. Kimberly Fluke says, spaghetti, I can eat it and eat it and eat it and eat it.
You know what I saw? I'm gonna go get some. Maybe I'll try them on the Instagram this weekend or something. But Little Debbie now has the ice cream in the flavor of the Little Debbie cakes, so you can get like Swiss roll and zebra cake and oatmeal cream pies. And I think I need to try them, all of them.
My first ex-husband, and that's a sentence not everybody can say. My first ex-husband had an obsession with Little Debbie cakes. Obsession. He could eat an entire box. And you get them in those little individual cellophane wrappers. He would tear the wrapper off and poke the whole thing into his mouth.
That's sexy right there. I can see. I couldn't resist it, I bet.
One night, he was at work. He was working nights, and that was nice. And I had my whole like girls' night face mask, hair up, crappy repeat of the movie I've seen 1,000 times. I've got my ladies' night going on, and suddenly he comes bursting through the front door with a bloody towel on his head, blood running down his face. And I'm looking at him, and I'm going to be honest, and this is why that marriage needed to end. I looked at him, and I'm not proud of this, but I'm going to confess it. My first thought was not, what happened to your head? My first thought was, the hell are you doing here tonight? So here's what had happened. He was he was delivering pizza, and he was running through, he'd done his delivery, and he's running through the apartment complex stairwell. And I don't know, I don't think he was inebriated or high or under any kind of influence. I just think he wasn't paying attention. The outdoor stairs that are made of cement and metal that go up, he decided he was going to take a shortcut and go under one of those flights of stairs. But he miscalculated how tall he was and where his actual head was in relation to the ground, and scalped himself. And the moral of that story is eating that many Little Debbie cakes has to make you stupid, because what other reason can there be? Let me toast you one more time. Mama needs a refill because it has been a day. And I'm going to go upstairs and watch Rambo with the hubs. We love you. Thank you so very much for joining us for our little ladies' night. We'll do this again because just because we like to. Thank you. Be good to each other. Love you. Love you. Cheers. Good night.